Hello and welcome to the ALGO Football Tactics channel. Today's analysis will be about the second leg of the Champions League game between Barcelona and PSG. Could this really be PSG's year? Having lost the first leg, PSG had to turn it around somehow, and they got there in the end, making it to the semi-finals for the first time since the COVID UCL. How were PSG able to recover from a damaging first leg defeat to then set up a semi-final clash with Borussia Dortmund? Let's dig into the tactics. PSG made 3 changes to their lineup, with Hakimi coming in for Beraldo, Zaire Emery replacing Lee in midfield, Barcola replacing Asensio up front, allowing Mbappe to move into the centre forward position. As for Barcelona, they made only 1 change, with Pedri replacing Roberto in midfield. This video will be divided into 2 parts, before the red card and after the red card. Before the red card, PSG were just as dominant as after the red card, constantly recovering possession in high parts of the pitch, shot after shot, chance after chance. But Barcelona struck on the break. PSG had 59% possession, 7 shots as opposed to Barcelona's 2. How were PSG so dominant in the early stages of the game? Let's get into it. Barcelona tried to play shots whenever possible. Mbappe would try to cut out one part of the pitch, while Barcola would be in an half-in-half position, pressing both Koundé and Araujo. This limited ter Stegen's passing options, and he was forced to either go long to Lewandowski, who was constantly under immense pressure from either Hernandez or Marquinhos, with one pushing and one dropping. Mbappe trying to cut out Kubasi and force Barcelona to one side of the pitch, with Barcola in a pressing position reminiscent of Grealish's positioning for City in their treble-winning season. The ability to press 2 players using 1. Barcelona could still get to Kubasi at the other side of the pitch using Pedri. Whenever Barcelona made it out of the first phase, PSG pressed in a lopsided 4-1-4-1 with the same principles. Barcola still in the same pressing position, keeping an eye on Koundé while also pressing Araujo, but was even more prepared to let Araujo have more time and space on the ball. In the light of other passing options being tightly marked, Lewandowski constantly tried to drop into the midfield spaces to either pull out Marquinhos or Hernandez to create gaps in the defense for the runs of Raphinha and Gundogan from midfield. Despite being tightly marked by the combination of Marquinhos and Hernandez, Lewandowski did fairly well under the pressure, holding up play and winning 6 of his ground duels. This time and space leads to the first goal for Barcelona. Araujo here in time and space with no PSG player close or nearby to him. All nearby passing options are tightly marked, so Araujo steps into the space. Araujo steps out from the defense into the midfield with no PSG player still coming close to pressure him. Hernandez is trying to anticipate this common themed pass from Araujo to Lewandowski in between the lines, but Araujo instead picks out Yamal on the wings, who is left free by an overcompensating Nuno Mendes. Araujo finds Yamal on the wings, who does really well to get past Nuno Mendes and finds Raphinha for a close range finish. Soon enough, Barcola began to turn his attention to Araujo on the ball, as he began to press more centrally, from in to out. And this not only stopped Araujo getting timeless and countless space on the ball, but it also brought along his benefits, as anytime there was a turnover in possession for Barcelona, Barcola could be running right into the space left behind by Koundé, this leading to the red card. Barcola now pressing more centrally after the goal, putting Araujo under pressure, and this new pressing position works to their advantage, as when Araujo loses the ball, Barcola is now in a great position to exploit the gap between Araujo and Koundé in the backline. Araujo lost possession, and now Barcola is attacking the space between Araujo and Koundé with good effect, as Araujo has to bring him down for a contentious red card. A constant theme in PSG's attacking play was the late runs of Fabian Ruiz into the half spaces, trying to test the agility of Pedri, who at times struggled to keep up with the late runs of Fabian Ruiz, leading to moments where Barcola would outnumber Koundé 2v1 as Pedri struggled to keep up. Another constant theme of PSG's attacking play was the ability to force Barcelona to one side of the pitch, meaning Barcola on multiple occasions could be left down the left hand side with time and space ready to attack the backline through switch crosses or walked 1-2s from the right over to the left. Barcelona has now been forced to one side of the pitch, and Barcola at the other side is free with acres of space out of shot. Fabian Ruiz is forcing Koundé to get narrow as Pedri is cut more central, meaning Koundé most times was left in the 2v1 out wide. Barcola receives the switch and Fabian Ruiz is making the half-space run behind Koundé in the space between the centre-back and full-back. Pedri is still struggling to keep up, and this leads to a decent chance for PSG. Once again, Barcola receiving the switch from the right-hand side, Koundé getting out to meet him, and Fabian Ruiz is making the same half-space run between centre-back and full-back. Look how big the space is. Pedri is showcasing his frailties defensively as he struggles to keep up with the Spanish midfielder. Here again, Fabian Ruiz forcing Koundé to get narrow, with Barcola set to receive the switch from Dembele, as Pedri is still narrow due to the compact 4-4-2 shape employed by Barca. Barcola receives in space, and there is a big gap in the Barcelona box which Mbappe tries to exploit and forces Ter Stegen into a decent save. It became even more evident that PSG were going to be the more dominant side, as Barcelona became even more compact, constantly shifting from side to side, trying to deny any space between the lines. Xavi must have noticed that Pedri was struggling to keep up with Fabian Ruiz, so he got moved from the right to the left, allowing the hard-working Raphinha to keep tabs on Fabian Ruiz's late runs into the half spaces. Barcelona now in their compact 4-4-2 block, with PSG trying to stretch the defense as much as possible, with the massive amount of wide spaces for both Barcola and Hakimi. Pedri has now moved from the right hand side to the left, as Raphinha has now been assigned to keep a close eye on Fabian Ruiz's half-space runs. PSG have always created overloads all around the pitch, and they did that yet again. Pedri scored the wrong side of the ball, and now Dembele and Hakimi have created a 2v1 against João Cancelo. Dembele receives between the lines and leads to a very promising chance for Fabian Ruiz. The red card definitely tipped the scales in the favour of PSG, as Barcelona struggled ever since the 30th minute. PSG definitely looked the dominant side even before the red card, but Barcelona were clinical on the break. PSG will now be looking forward to the semi-final clash against Borussia Dortmund, in a game they feel they should win to head to the final.